of Minecraft. It's so peaceful, so serene, with its beautiful beaches, lush forests, and snowy mountains. The crafters are so lucky to enjoy their entire lives in this true masterpiece of euphoria. That's until some idiot IRL friendly decides to do hardcore. Yeah, it wasn't enough that we completely failed last time. He wants to go in for another round. And I guess here we are again. In hell. This, what you see right now, that is where we are. Not literally. That's how I feel. When I look around, that's what I see. Either way, enjoy my suffering, as we do many days of hardcore Minecraft. Oh, yeah, waking up in a stranger's house. This is exactly what I was planning on doing. It's so great. It's great. I'm waking up in a fisherman's house. It's fine.
Day 41. Day 41, I woke up inside of a lighthouse. I explored the area, finding a whole bunch of barrels and loot, which was mainly salmon, cocoa beans, and some dried kelp. Of course, I took the salmon and cocoa beans. I have no interest in dried kelp. I know that there are a whole bunch of redstone contraptions that really work by getting dried kelp as fuel, but that has nothing to do with me. I do not care. Then I returned home to empty my bags before going back and getting some more. Leveled up the stonemasons with all the, clay that I had collected. And then returned to the lighthouse to steal their light. I even had a little bit of a spiel, that I don't know why, but I decided to go on a little bit of a spiel about lighthouses.
That's pretty. Frog lights! Yeah, I know. I'm destroying the lighthouse. It's not like there's any ships near... Oh, gold! In the center. But it's not like there's any ships near this area. Let's be honest with ourselves, guys. There's no ships in this little lake area. Their path to the ocean has been worn and covered. So what are they gonna do, you know? They can't be upset because they're practically useless. See, they have to go over that way. And what are they gonna do? Crash into here? And that path is like completely covered now. Oh, I guess no. Now see that? See, look, the sand has covered up that area. Yeah, so I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just repurposing. I'm repurposing. Well, unfortunately, it is time for me to go down into the mines and collect some cobblestone and some stone. That means I'm taking my silk touch pickaxe and my normal pickaxe and seeing how much I can collect. We have a day to do it, so let's get to it.
On day 44, I finally just said, F it. I really do need a form of XP. So, I tried to find a nearby dungeon. Small rooms with little spawners in it. You know what dungeons are. So I could use it for its spawner as the best mob grinder it could be. Now I was hoping for, you know, either a skeleton or a zombie spawner. Worst comes to worst, I could also turn it into a drown spawner if I was to drown the zombies. That would take longer and it would be more worth it, but it would take longer in the long run. As every time you'd have to wait for them to drown, and yeah, and plus when you hit them with a swing, they would jump up into the water and then slowly descend. There was a lot of things I was thinking about when I was trying to figure out how I wanted this to be done. Although, overall, I really wanted this skeleton spawner because of the bones. Bones are super useful for everything that I do because I'm more of a nature kind of builder. I use a lot of nature in my builds. But unfortunately, I found a zombie one. You know what? It's better than nothing. I feel bad for you guys. You know? You kind of need some health, so I'm gonna go get some iron. You know, I like to look after my iron golems. I don't know what it is about me, but I just like to look after my iron golems. They're a good form of protection, especially from the mobs, except for creepers. I wish they would deal with creepers. What about you guys? Any cracks on you guys? No, you're good. Got one. I think I put one more on this guy. There we go. On day 45, I found the perfect plan for the mob spawner. But instead of me telling you about it, I should let me tell you about it. That's right. I'm going to cut to a clip where I will talk about it. Because it's important to make sure that you call out any redstoner's contraption that you use. I feel like it's important to give credit where credit is due. Well, after searching the YouTube for a little bit, I actually came upon Hackon Plays, which Hackon Player is actually someone I've worked with in Guild Rock. That's right, Guild Rock. I'm going to try their mob spawner. I look at the mob spawner itself, and it's the same one that I've used in Java. They're using a Bedrock design, but I'm going to try to use it in Java and see if it works. And Hackon is really good with redstone, with farms and stuff like that. Their entire channel is based around that, except for, of course, Guild Rock episodes, which go check them out. This is their plug. They have 4,600 subscribers. They deserve so much more, and they're a really nice and cool person. I really enjoyed working with them. I wish I had gotten more one-on-one time with them in the guild or group time with them in Guild Rock, but unfortunately I didn't. And it's nice to, you know, give them a shout out. Go subscribe. Go subscribe to them. They're really good. Or check out their stuff. Like, seriously, go check out their stuff. If you need a redstone or anything like that, they've got it. But either way, I'm going to start on this, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow, we have a nice mob spawner. And then we're going to figure out exactly where it's going to come out. On day 46, I built the XP farm, thank you to Hackon. Here's the clip of me building it and some music. It was a really simple and easy one to do, and all thanks to Hackon's instructions. I really think he made it just simple, and I really do admire Redstoner's way of explaining stuff. I could never. My head is all over the place. I can barely read out this kind of stuff and not say random stuff like I'm doing right now. I just can't. They are so calculated and smart, and Day 47, I took some advice that someone gave me. Someone told me that you have to light up the caves around the area. That way that the mob spawns in an XP farm is better. So I went around and looked through every cave, putting down the torches and trying to light it up to make sure that the spawning rates would be higher. And I even went straight up to the surface with some ladders, as I said I was going to reach the surface and figure out where it was in the actual clips. But yeah, it was near my base. It was actually pretty close. I was like one island over, and I was like, oh, this is just a simple walk. This is just a simple walk. I was expecting it to be really far away. But looking on the map, I kind of did do a U-turn and go back towards my base when I was trying to find the dungeon. Oh my god, that's so big. No wonder that things aren't spawning, you know? there's so much space in which they can spawn around here. This is ridiculous. I mean, we need to do this either way, so I won't do a huge amount. I just need enough that it's gonna let the others spawn. I would like at least a slightly functional place, please. Slightly functional. On day 48, I got to use the XP grinder. I kind of went AFK for sections just to, you know, wait for the mobs to drop all at once. But honestly, it was good. It was good. It was definitely a one that could be improved upon, and I may have to do that later, but by lighting up the rest of the cave system. But it was good. It was decent. It got the job done. It gave me some XP. It's definitely something that I don't foresee using very often because I need to focus on building, I need to focus on pushing forward and production. However, I'm excited to make a ender farm eventually because I've never made an ender farm mob grinder type thing, never in my life. So we're hopefully going to be able to enjoy one of those soon. Day 49. After putting all this XP grinder stuff to the side, I woke up and tried to enchant things to some awful results. Pretty lackluster, actually. I hate when you like put so much effort in that you put the lapis in and you look at it and you're like, okay, so I'm gonna get a protection 4, and you get like protection 3, and you're like, thanks for that. I decided instead to do some planning of the seawall. So I feel like we should start thinking about the build now. I feel like I feel like the first thing I should do is probably make a line, like a cutout of what we want to do. I might do it out of wood, and then like a shape for a bridge as well. So this is all going to be pushed back. This is all going to be pushed back to here, so like across there. Maybe we should get it. Actually, let's get a shovel. So basically we need some trees, and I need to make the outline for the wall so we can at least know where it's going to go. I then collected up some wood as I knew I was going to need it for the outline. I like to line every area of the bases to kind of show where each building would be with wood. I know a lot of other people do it with wool. I don't have sheep, so I can't do that. So I got wood instead. And even started to do a little bit of the outline. I continued on doing the outline in day 50. I wanted to make sure that it was all set up and I knew the end and the start of the seawall. Some of it, unfortunately, was going to be in water. Like, I would have to build all the wall quite deep down into the water, but you know, the effort is what's important. You have to do it sometimes, and plus, it's not like I'm gonna drown. It's not like there's sharks in the water. And Minecraft hasn't added sharks yet, and I feel like Minecraft should get on that. Just hint, hint. Blood in the water, that kind of stuff. I'd love to see sharks. Great white sharks. Yeah, from Australia. They're great. But then I found out that I needed more acacia because there's lots of issues with other woods because I use them. I don't use acacia, so it's like you gotta go grab the one you don't use. And overall, I made a nice shape. With it. It was very, very particular and very symmetrical and all that crap. But later on, we'd be able to, work with it and mess it up and destroy things. Maybe give it some form of what's it called? Degrade. Corrosion? Water corrosion, especially. I can't remember what that's called, but that was for later. On day 51, I started to make the bridge outline with the acacia. I wanted to make sure that we'd have like a place to get from one to the other. I decided to do a flat bridge. There was a thought about doing a curved bridge, but I thought if we are going to do a dock kind of village type thing, there would be no reason to have a curved bridge. That's not the kind of bridge that would exist there. And if they were theoretically supposed to lift up for boats, they wouldn't be curved. That would just be weird. I then continued on with the other side of the seawall plan, doing the outline for the other side, where it's going to connect. And then realized that I had forgotten my axe, which is just so me. On day 52, I found another wood plank that I don't use very often, which is jungle, and I used that to place where I was going to put the pillars. Now, obviously, I still had to come up with a good design for the pillars, which did take a little bit of effort, and I thank the Discord channel for that. I did give them an option and say, well, in your opinion, what looks better? And then I even did a little bit more tweaking and said which one looks better. And they really helped the Discord channel to make me decide on which is which. And the Discord channel's newish. It's not even a year old. I think it's only like a few months. But we're still trying to learn, and I'm not very good at social media stuff, so I've tried my best. But we came up with a good design. On day 53, it was time to start clearing the area. It was trying to start pushing back the sand, pushing back the mountain, or the dunes, I should say, so that I was able to start the seawall. All I had to do was clear out as much as I possibly could of the area to just try to give there be space, and if I needed sand afterwards, I could add it back. I also tried to replace as much of the stone and dirt with sand so that it all blended in underneath the water. I didn't want it to look too disgusting. I've also considered replacing all of the sand or all the dirt and stone underneath the bridge as well to start doing some ocean terraforming, but ocean terraforming takes so long and can be so tedious. It really can, and I'm just worried about that. Gotta clear that goddamn station, which means there will be a beautiful, wonderful time lapse. Probably a time lapse in my POV, because otherwise, how are we gonna do it, Or both. We'll do both. How about that both? Oh, we can do both. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Both. On day 54 and 55, I did the rest of the clearing. I made sure that it was all completely done. I wanted to get it out of the way. I did some time lapses, some POVs, and with a little bit of music, so you'll be able to enjoy that. But after the 2 days, it was gone. It was done. I was ready to move on to building. On day 56, I finally got over to my boat. And it was the last piece of removal, the last piece of clearing, I guess. I left this to the end and I didn't do it in the time-lapse because I had to move my enchanting table. Now, at first, my enchanting area was going to be moved to behind the village's holding area. Definitely not a cell. I wanted to make sure that it was placed somewhere close by, and eventually it would be moved anyway. And then I removed the half of the boat that was poking out behind, well, in front of the seawall and would be seen by everyone. I didn't want that. If I wanted to put a boat into it, I would do it later. On day 57, I decided to focus more on the villagers, placing down some new workstations. Being that there were so many baby villagers and new villagers, I decided that they needed my focus for now, and I really wanted different workstations to work with, and even started doing some trades to upgrade the villagers with the things I already had, such as, wheat and sticks. But at the end of the day, I still needed to get more logs. The stick trades were great. It was a way to get emeralds. We could trade emeralds to get other things such as, trash. As I put it here, trash. But iron armor, especially since I already had diamond, but iron armor, chainmail armor, that kind of stuff, so that you can slowly build up to something that could sell you diamond armor. It's always good to have backup diamond armor, It's always good. But I needed to get logs, so I went out and got some logs for my stick trades that I'd be doing the day after. Day 58, also known as the day after. I started doing some stick trades, some more wheat trades, maxing out my armor villagers, trying to make sure that they had the diamond level of trading. I mean, it took a frick ton of emeralds, I'm not kidding. It took so many goddamn emeralds. It was so much armor. I thought to myself, this is going to be smart in the long run. If the problem is, if you die, you drop all your stuff, so you're dead, the world's gone, so it doesn't really matter. So why would you need backup armor? But who knows, I might need it for decoration, putting it on some armor, well, the armor stands. That's a thing, right? That's a thing. I also did some plans on expanding, just expanding upwards so that we had more space for the poor little villagers. On day 59, I decided we were going to expand, but we needed more beds, so I was going to go out and kill sheep. Now, I didn't have to kill sheep, I could have just shorn them all, but where's the fun in that? And when I got back, I did exactly what I said. I started to expand. I got some deep slate, started to build upwards, placed a new floor, even got a whole bunch of beds to lay out. I did have to go out a few times to get some more wool, because obviously, it's 3 per bed, and I don't have a sheep farm at the moment, so I kind of shot myself in the foot there. But I also found a weird structure inside of a cave. It had like copper in it and stuff. I wasn't too sure what it was. I'm guessing it's just one of the random generated stuff. It's nothing important, but it was still cool. Day 60. This was the day that I realized that a lake nearby was covered in clay. Yes, I mentioned it, I think last episode, that I went from rivers to lakes. But the bottom of this lake, one layer, was all clay. It was the perfect source of clay. And I took that opportunity. I got as much clay as I could and started using the clay to, trade with the stone crafters. So that I had heaps and heaps of options with blocks. Eventually, I'm going to need, like, a ridiculous amount of stone crafters. I'm stone masons, I think they're called. I also upgraded the tool guys a little bit. I wanted to see if I could get better tools. That's something I would need later on, because, shovels. Shovels, I don't ever think to put mending or anything on a shovel, because there's no point. They break so quickly. I mean, unless you had, like, ultimate, ridiculous level max enchants on them. I then spent my last couple minutes throwing trash into the ocean. Just participating to the wildlife of the aquatic and turtles. They've got choke on something. It really was perfect. But I looked ahead to the next couple days, which I knew were going to be building days, and I was excited for the next episode.